Dead Link is an RPG horror game produced by the Meme Team, consisting of Jordan Hood, Caleb Nichols, Jeremiah Richards, Logan Warrick, and Amber Wiggs. It will be an RPG horror game where players take the role as survivors during a viral outbreak that causes a zombie apocalypse. The players will need to work together to put together a code sequence to create the antidote to help fight this virus and stop the virus from spreading around the world. We wanted to do was we wanted to immerse the players into a new horror game. It really encapsulated the anxiety and that heart-pounding tension associated with such games. However, we also wanted to create a strategy-based game where players had to use their wits and their critical thinking and puzzle-solving skills in addition to having to survive. To do so, to help create this, we have one player in a multiplayer game that will actually control the zombies to prevent the surviving players from solving the antidote and preventing them from completing their tasks. This obviously presented unique challenges, and as such, we opted to make this game a single player with online multiplayer functionality. We will also be targeting players ages 14 and up. This game will be available on the PS4. It will have multiple levels corresponding to different areas for players to navigate, such as a forest, a city, military base, or an abandoned lab. Each area will have different solutions that the player will need in order to create the antidote to beat the game. Spawn rates of enemies and items vary on each playthrough, and depending on the character that the player has selected, it will vary even more. There will be several different types of main characters to choose from. Each will have their own strengths and weaknesses, such as classes or special abilities or weapons. This encourages players to play through different characters instead of just playing through one to beat the game. And at the start of the game, only one type of initial zombie will exist, but as each new area is unlocked, different zombies will appear. When replaying previous stages, these new zombies have a chance of spawning. An example of mechanics in this game is an attack. This can be activated by pressing or holding the right trigger button. We have Disperse. This can be activated by pressing the triangle button if by the player who is controlling the zombies. If only one player is playing a game, then what will happen is this will be controlled by the AI and happen automatically. Consume will consume a resource by holding the square button after selecting the resources need to be consumed, such as a health pack or ammunition. Memorize and recall will allow the player to input the code sequences that they have found throughout the game by pressing the triangle button. Group and organize. This is a menu that can be opened up by pressing the left trigger button and navigated by using the directional pad. Selecting option by pressing X, and then depending on what you select, using another input to control. The game is going to be very simplistic in its design. We wanted the players to feel very comfortable right off the bat and not overwhelmed by the graphics or all the confusing effects. This is going to be an example of a city location where the player is running into the city and there are a bunch of zombies in the center blocking their path. Here is an example of our character selection screen in its early stages. We have Dr. Charity Case. The player has 6 different characters that they can choose from. As you can see, it has a short bio, it has a special weapon they have, an ability, an advantage to picking this character, and a drawback to picking this character. This will all lead to the player making educated choices when they play through the game. Here is an example of fast travel. So in case once the player has been to an area, they can travel to another area without going in between areas again. Competition that this game may face is Left 4 Dead, Resident Evil 7, and DayZ. We are different than these games because we utilize versus aspects, but only one person has control of the zombies and their abilities, and other players need to work together. We also offer survivor horror feel, but we rely on people's problem-solving skills in addition to their wit. And while some games only offer the player the ability to stay alive, we offer an end goal. Thank you.